Chinchy.
What's up?
What's up, brother? We're doing it. We're doing it again.
Get a whole
high five. Yeah.
We're gonna explain what the background is when we come back. But
month number 2, I'm on the road, bro. I'm in Jersey up here at MLB Network, so I had to make an adjustment real nice. So got some stuff going on. But let's get it on, brother. You ready to go?
Let's do it. Rolling.
Let's hit it. Dude, some of those pictures are great, bro. Some of the hair I got going. What?
You got a little audience today. A lot of people in here.
All right, now we're talking. That's what we need. We want to see the people. We're a show of the people. We're a show of the people.
Okay, so
show for the people.
What is going on in your background here? There's a beautiful artwork, but this doesn't look
like that. There's you right there, Chinch. I know. There's you. There's my kid. There's my kids. I figured I like inspirational quotes, but I just figured I'd just put inspirational quote because you can put whatever you want there. Then I drew a picture of me with a baseball bat. It looks more like a Snoop Dogg joint though than it does a bat. So, can you see that one? Oh my God! I was trying to improvise, bro. Art's not my form, you know.
It's timely because you're not a television producer like myself, but we got one of the greatest honors of my career. The boys at Room Raider rated us.
Yes!
8 out of 10. I got an 8 out of 10. They said they love my Naughty Pine. I had to look up what Naughty Pine is. Do you know what Naughty Pine is, personally?
Yeah, it's got the knots in the background, the little dark things. Those are knots, right?
Very good. Yes. I didn't know that.
I know what I'm talking about. Get to know your room one time, bro. Get to know your room.
You ready to rock? We got a lot of good stuff here. There's a story that Sean is going to tell later that involves a priest family out in a very scary situation, right? And plus, what else are we doing today? You got the cards. What else you got?
That's right. We got the cards. We got the bucket today. It's a bowl though, a bowl of balls. And then we got the 9 and 90, baby. We got the 9 and 90, our new segment.
I have good topics. My wife Jess helped out with those too, and they're
I love it. Thanks, Jess. Right. Thanks, Jess.
Let's kick it off with kind of like a Debbie Downer story, but we were talking about this. You know, normally we never start the show with a last place team, but we're going to do just that. Because as of this taping, the Baltimore Orioles are 15 and a half games out in the AL East. At the beginning of June, they've lost 8 of 10. Being outscored 277 to 215. Now, you've been on some bad teams in your career. We were talking about this the other day. How do you stay focused and motivated, and do you have to be selfish? How's that work?
It's tough. You know, I was on the Reds, I think, in 2001. We lost 96 games, and we lost 93 in 2003. And usually when you lose 96 games in 93, you're not getting off to a hot start. You know what I mean? Usually when you're losing that many games, it's pretty much a bad year from the jump. And you know, being on a team like that when you're looking up in like May and you're 10, 15 games out already and you're thinking to yourself like, oh my gosh, like we got to grind. I think the one thing that changed when I look back at those teams, you know, you come together as a team knowing that like, hey, we might have, you know, I think the biggest thing was for us in the Reds in those years, we didn't have the pitching. You know, we had Adam Dunn, Austin Kearns, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Larkin, myself. We were loaded with we had some thunder, you know, in the lineup, but we just didn't have the pitching. And I think when you, as a player, when you look out there of your guys that are on the mound and you go, man, we just don't have the pitching to hang. It's going to be a long year as far as wins and losses goes. You just have to like hunker down as a team and say, you know, let's do it for each other. Let's go out there for each other every night. So, you know, even a team like the Orioles that are scuffling and might scuffle all year, that, you know, they got to look at it and say to themselves, hey, listen, we gotta we got to be in this for each other. You know, it's funny. It starts to rack my brain thinking about that 2003 team. You know, you are trying to hold on to you're trying to hold on to different things throughout the year. Like, oh man, this will be a cool thing, or is this happen? Is this cool? Like I remember 2003. In 2003, we went to the Poison concert one time. I think it was me, Todd Walker. No, it wasn't Todd Walker. It was me, Kernsey, Dunner, and a couple other guys. We all went to the Poison concert, right? So that was something. We landed in Chicago. Bam! Next thing you know, we're going to the concert. Like I remember back to that year. Like man, it wasn't a great year on the field, but off the field, you kind of try and grab moments, right? Like okay, you were in the grind together. We still got it done. And I remember back in 2003. I remember it was the end of the year. Like I think Jason LaRue and I were the only two guys that were still left from the opening day roster. I remember most of the guys that were up were like AA, AAA guys that were called up. I think Dunner was on the disabled list. Danny Graves was home. Griffey was hurt. Larkin was hurt. Just that Kernsey was hurt. Like it was a mass unit of dudes, right? And so when you're at that stage, Chidge, when you're 90 games. You've already lost 90 games, and there's only so much left in the season. I remember there was 9 games to go, and we underneath, right behind the Reds clubhouse, was the track, right? And in the track, we run our sprints before the game. And I remember with 9 games to go, LaRue and I were under there running sprints, and a couple other guys too. And I remember mentally being like, we were going to play the Cubs that night. I remember mentally thinking, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I don't know if I can play one more baseball game. That's where my mind went to. Like there was nothing to play for. There was no guys on the team. Like I was like, I don't know if I can literally play this game. And then it's one of those things in your mind, like I just got to get across the white lines and I'll do it. I'll do it. So it's funny. After that game, we come in playing the Cubs. I had just gone in that game. Sosa had popped the ball late in the game, like in the 9th, and I went in the stands like 3 rows deep. I landed on some lady's nachos, like bam, just absolute mayhem. But I was like, almost caught the ball, hit up the end of my glove, and people were like, yeah, great effort. And I was like, oh, you're still playing for the fans too. So you're playing for your teammates. You're still playing for the fans, the people that come out there, and so that kind of fires you up a little bit. And after the game, we go in the clubhouse, and I look in the food room, and there's Jose Cardinal, and he's sitting there with a guy with short blonde hair, and I'm like, when you're in the clubhouse, if it's not a player or a media member, you're like, who's that guy? But the short blonde hair I didn't recognize. Like, hey man, that's Eddie Vedder. I'm like, no way, that's good. So Cardinal, Ed loves Cardinal. Cardinal was like his guy growing up in Chicago. You know what I mean? So it was like, and I was like. And we would always bust Cardinal's chops. We always had a great relationship. We're like, Cardinal, we can't believe you're hanging out with Eddie Vedder. He probably doesn't even know who he is. You know what I mean? Like we would just bust his chops like that. And so what was great about that was LaRue later on was in the bathroom, and I think they crossed paths, and he was like, hey man, he asked Ed, is any chance you could play a song for us? No, it's been a long year. It's been a really long year. And Ed was like. And Juan Castro just happened to have a guitar in his locker. And Ed was like, yeah, let me go hang out with the coaches a little bit, and then I'll be back in. And sure enough, Ed came in, sat down, and we gave him Juan's guitar, and he played a tune for us.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, of all places.
Yeah.
People may not have ever seen this. This is just, I'm going to crank it up a little.
Woo! Oh man!
Now, first of all, this is just—it's amazing.
No, you clowns! Isn't that so cool?
Yeah. Now, wait, hold on. There's something in this video that I did a little deeper dive on that I need to show you, and you need to explain to me. And as a professional athlete, what is going on? On the left side of your screen, this guy's smoking a heater.
Hey, you know what? It was late in the year, and whenever a concert breaks out, sometimes it gets a couple guys just want to rip a couple heaters, and so that's how we did it. It was a mini concert. Ed came in, did the concert, couple guys ripping some heaters, and it turned out to be. It was one of those moments, though. I'm telling you, as players on that team, we were like, "This is, we made it. Like we stuck around, and we got to have that one moment together. Like with Ed coming in and playing, playing that. You got to hide your love away. One song for us. Really, really cool. Was a really cool night, man. And I remember thinking, okay, I can, because that happened. I could get through the eight more days.
Unbelievable. That's probably one of the most memorable things ever happened.
Yeah.
And we don't on the mayor's office. We do not condone smoking heaters, right?
Each to his own, bro. Each to his own, right?
All right. So moving on. Now we're moving on. You said you were talking about that one team had so many injuries. Unbelievable what's going on here. There's a theme. Basically, in less than 24 hours, two of the game's biggest stars, Flaherty and Tatis. Are you still laughing at the heater? Went down with injuries. Flaherty tore his, and he'll be out months. Tatis, they're saying they're quite optimistic, but he's already been on a DL twice this year. The injury bug, it's crazy. You got some stats there on what's going on and why it's up so much. But what's your take?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. What did they say? 104 soft tissue injuries through May, which is up 160%. Since 2019, hamstring injuries are up 193%, and oblique strains and tears are up 83% since 2019, which is, man, that's crazy. I don't know, man. Like I know Harold Reynolds the other night on MLB Network was saying, more about some of the stuff about guys don't run as much as they did maybe at spring training, like doing baseball type stuff. I just wonder if these numbers are so great. Like where COVID fits in here, because you go back to last year, 60 games, start spring training, stop spring training, start it again, come back, play 60 games. Then you have this offseason, still kind of a weird place. I don't know. And I don't, it's weird because you think, with the guys getting in such great shape in the offseason, they wouldn't be pulling obliques and pulling hamstrings and all that stuff. So, it's weird because you look at the NFL. There was a record number of ACL tears, I think, last year, and you think about they didn't have the team training facilities. They were kind of doing stuff on their own, and then they were getting hurt. So I don't know what it is, man, but it's definitely something that's going on. It's funny because back in the day when we played, Chance, you were like, you can't pull fat. You know what I mean? Like that. Guys weren't as ripped and all that stuff, but there was a lot of baseball players. We just said, "Oh, you're a baseball player." Guys were still lifting and getting after it, but it wasn't the same. Probably having doing some of the stuff to the next level that some of the guys are doing now, which you would think. I remember one time. Man, I'll leave the player out because it's a funny story, but it goes. I mean, this is 20-some years ago. I remember a guy that was just looked like he's straight out beer league softball, and he was known as a big power pull hitter and was more of a bench player, right? And, he comes up, he's got the big boiler, comes up first to bat, wham, crushes one to right center. You're like, oh, baby, that's gone. Next at bat, rocket in the gap double. Next at bat, he pulls one in the hole to right. And his fourth at bat, he comes up and he shoots one to left, right? Ground ball to left. And I'm like, okay, that's unbelievable. I've never seen this guy not pull a ball. You know what I mean? This 100%, the boiler's in the way, just boom, there's three, and a knock to left. So when he hit the knock to left, he got to first base, and I said, everyone's wonders your conversations at first. And I look back, and this is a conversation that sticks out to me, back in the day. And this is probably back in the 90s. And he says, I said, bro, I've never seen you hit like this before. You're really having a great game. First day, usually you're on the bench. He goes, man, Case, I'm doing something different today. I'm 8 beers deep in a pack of smokes. And I'm like, whoa, that's performance enhancing. Performance enhancing right there. Are you kidding? So I think he was having a beer and 2 smokes every inning and went 4 for 4, like 5 ribbies. That's definitely not condoned in the commander's office, but it's a true story. And that was one of my conversations at first base. I was like, man, I don't know if you can keep that going for 162.
need to get Camel or Marlboro to sponsor the show.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So that's two. We're on a roll here. 2 in a row. Next thing, order of business. We've been talking about the strikeouts. Strikeouts up, blah, blah, blah. But really cool article from Mike Petriello last week. I'm kind of throwing this out at you because I didn't bring this up to you earlier, but it's focusing more on the pitchers hitting. The flat lines of pitchers are 101, 137, 132. They have a 269 OPS. They come to the plate 1,370 times, and they have 122 total hits. And I didn't even look up to see if Ohtani's part of that.
I bet you he's not. He's not on that.
He and DeGrom have all the hits for every pitcher. So how do you feel about this? I've never asked your take on the DH or no DH kind of thing.
You know what? I used to be, because I played most of my career in the National League, so I think I was like so pro, like, hey, there's National League, American League. I mean, one thing about the National League that I did like was that there's more action. You know what I mean? Like in the American League, you go in there, you're in the lineup, you're hitting 3, boom. You're not playing tonight. In the National League, if you're not playing, you're probably getting in at some point. And the strategy starts around, when the starter starts, getting hit around a little bit. You can see the bench manager, bench coach talk. Now there's action. Hey, man, they bring this guy in and so-and-so hits in the 5th. We're going to double switch you into 1st. You're going to go in for the game. And there's just a ton of strategy, which I do like. And I think that's a great part of the game. But one thing, I think nowadays, though, especially with the COVID shortened year last year, they were able to do the 60 games and try some things out that they've still implemented. And one of them was the universal DH. I kind of liked it. I kind of like it. I just, even looking at Flaherty recently gets hurt swinging. I think he pulls an oblique. Mm-hmm. You got one of the best pitchers in the game. People pay to see him pitch, not to hit. And you can see by these numbers, are you kidding me? Those are terrible. So I don't know, man. I think my mind has changed a little bit. If it's best for the game and it brings more action and it, and allows for the hitters to hit instead of having the pitchers hit, I kind of like the universal DH.
I like that. And part of what got into us talking about strikeouts and this and that, you were telling a story about fast behind you back home, but back in the day you were facing King Felix, and as everybody knows, John hated striking. And what happened there?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I don't know why this story popped into my head, but, back in the day when I was playing, I was with Marucci in 2008 when they were first kind of getting going. And I called Kyle Russo, who was the bat guy back then. I'm saying, hey, man, I'm giving away, so many bats to people that want autographs. Can you send an autograph bats for me? So they start making autograph bats. So they'll have the same cut as I have. If I was using an SC21 or whatever, they would have that cut, but they would cut it and they wouldn't care about the weight of the bat. So they'd send me a 34. It would look like my bat, but it could be a 40-ounce bat. It could be a 42 because I'm just signing them and giving them to people, right? Well, that year in Boston, I got a shipment of 12 bats, autograph bats, and then 24 regular bats of my good big league wood, 34, 31.8 ounces, 32.1, measured to the 0.1 ounce, right? Those are the big time ones. So we're packing for a trip to Seattle. Boom, I load up my bats. You load up your bat bag, then bam, you get it on the bus. So on the plane, so I load up my bat bag and I get a couple bats. Boom. So we go out there. We're playing Seattle. I get a start against King Felix. I'm like, all right, let's get it on. And this one, he's got a pretty good heater. So first at bat, throws me a first pitch heater. Bam, I take a rip. I'm like, whoa, man, I feel like I'm in the deep end of freaking the YMCA swimming pool. I'm like, whoa. It's like strike one. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's unbelievable. I must have had a long trip out here and didn't sleep on last night or something. I can't get it going. Next pitch, throws me another heater. The same thing. I'm in the deep end with weights on my bat. Just, longest swing ever. It looked like I cast it out, came around and just, strike 2. And then bam, he throws me another one. Obviously had to look at my swing and go, that's a slow swing. I'm about to punch him out. No more change up. He just, bam, 3 in a row. And I'm like, man, and I don't usually strike out a ton, Jay. So I hated striking out. So I was like, man, I just got abused right there. That's terrible, right? So my next at bat comes up, same thing, just 3 big swings, and bam, I'm out, right? And so I'm having one of these games. I'm like, I've never struck out twice in a row. I feel like the bat's so heavy, blah, blah. So I come up again in the 8th. It's a 5-4 game. Felix is still in the game. Boom. I'm like, come on, you got to get it together. Like, you got a guy on second. You got a shot to tie the game. He throws me another heater. I'm like, I got to get the bat in. I started it so early. I was like, I'm starting early. I'm not getting beat this time. I don't know what's going on. I'm swinging a freaking oak tree right now, but I got to figure it out. So he throws me one. I start way early. Bam, I cover it right out front, rocket to right, tie the game up 5-5. I think we ended up winning in the extra innings, but I just remember that game. So boom, game ends. I'm like, oh, I'll take it 1-for-4, a couple punch outs, like swinging underwater. But I salvaged the day. So I go get my bats after the game. I pull them out. I'm like, Casey custom cut. I'm like, these are my autograph bats.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I was using an autograph bat in the game that was like 40-some ounces. It was unbelievable. Now I know like really started like Babe Ruth and those guys were swinging up. I wouldn't have made it. If I had been swinging that bat, I'd been out of the big leagues so fast. But it was unbelievable. And I got a knock. I ended up getting a knock with the 34-40 freaking Marucci custom cut, Casey custom cut. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
I feel like one of the best pitchers in the game back then.
Oh, he was so dominant. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I'm like, I can't punch out again, Chinch. I mean, I almost wouldn't have mind. I mean, I obviously wanted to get a knock, but I'm like, I can't punch out. I got to put the ball in play. So it's amazing what your mind will do when you're swinging, even when you're swinging a 40-ounce bat. Look, that's terrible wood too. It's not, the wood they give you is not good wood when it's autographed. It's just there. It's the back end of the wood.
See, that's a lesson to you. We are one segment away from hearing Sean tell a story about a priest. I'm so excited for everybody to hear. But before we get to that, you know what's next, Sean?
Oh, what we got, brother? 90-90? Oh, here we go, baby.
Boy. All right, here we go.
90-90. Here we go, Chich.
Rules are, everybody remembers that there's a minute 30. I have this ghetto clock here that I'm 9 topics, basically 9 innings. You get through all 9, you've pitched a complete game. There are some very eclectic ones here. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, brother. I can't wait.
All right, your time.
I'll go.
I won't reset. Go ahead.
I was saying I don't know. I do not know what's happening here. Just so everybody knows, I do not know these topics.
Yes, let's just make some excitement. All right, you ready? Here we go. Time starts now. Golden Girls, Wonder Years, or Three's Company?
Oh, Three's Company. You kidding me? Three's Company.
Surf or turf?
Surf and turf.
What?
Surf? Did you say surf or turf?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying surf and turf. Both.
All right, what would hurt more? Chapman fastball to the back or spilling hot coffee on your lap?
A Chapman fastball in the back.
All right, we need to pick up the pace a little bit. Pedicures for men, yes or no? Pedicures for men.
Yes, I love pedicures. Yes, I love pedicures. The ladies hate me. I love pedicures, though.
It's left. What superpower would you rather have? Invisibility or the ability to read people's minds?
Read people's minds.
Okay.
No. Invisibility. Go.
Bobby the Brain Heenan or the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart?
Oh, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Okay. 3 more. Flying to LA from New York. What's worse, a crying baby or a large man with body odor?
A large man with body odor. I can take the baby.
Okay, 15 seconds. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No. Hate it.
Okay, last one. Would you rather swim with sharks with no cage or feed a lion with your hand?
Oh my God. I'll take my chance with the sharks. 1
second. 1 second left.
Yeah, baby. Yes. Ooh. Hey, I love Three's Company too, by the way. What a freaking show that was. Gosh.
That was my favorite. Jack Stripper. All right, wait. Let's review here because I got a little heated, but it was good. All right. You said, pedicures. Sean, some pedicures.
Yeah. I started doing pedicures, but I got some bad dogs, bro. Like, nasty.
Wait,
I got some. I can't. I got a leg cramp. I'm so inflexible. I can't even get my foot up.
all right, that's good.
That's so.
I
No, dude, I got a pedicure recently. This is a true story. I got a pedicure recently because I have such bad toes. I'm like, I gotta clean it up. So I gotta get the pedicure, and I'm like, they do like you pay them like a couple extra bucks, and they give you like the calf massage, right? So I'm like, oh, this is great. And the lady starts locking in on the calf massage. I'm like, oh, this is unbelievable. So I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, can you give me 20 more minutes? I'll give you like $50 or whatever it costs. And she's like, bro, my hands are too sore. No more time. I'm like, okay, no problem. This has been a great pedicure, though.
Because your dogs?
Yeah, she's like, your dogs are terrible. I think you have, what's that medicine you need? She's like, I think you have some sort of fungus in there. And she's like, I'm like, man, I've been wearing cleats my whole life. You know, I'm like, you should see my dad's toes. He was a marathon runner. His toes are worse. Mine are bad. I got like the ingrown toes. It's terrible. But anyway, when you're getting a pedicure, they should be locking in on you. You know, I was getting like the calf massage. I'm like, this needed 20 more minutes, and she couldn't do it. She couldn't deliver.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
Okay. And you said, who did you say, Bobby the Brain or Jimmy Hart?
You know what, Bobby the Brain? You know why? Chance boom. My man Mike Masalo, who's the PR director for the Brewers, right? Great dude. He brought Bobby the Brain Heat in one time into Cincinnati. So we met the Brain. The Brain came in, man. Rest in peace, Bobby. Comes in, we meet all the guys, so good. And he's up there in the booth announcing it. So next thing I know, he's like, now up to bat, number 21. He's up top and doing it, announcing the guys. And he's like, number 21, Casey Stengel. And I turned to look up to him, and he's going like this out the window and flicking me off. And I'm like, what's happening here? So I got Bobby the Brain Heenan announcing me up in Cincy. And he announces me Casey Stengel. And then I look up there, he starts flicking me off out the window. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. So that's why I love Bobby the Brain, because I met Jimmy Hart one time. I met Jimmy Hart one time with Hulk Hogan. I was on oh my God, what show was on? I was on a show with Al Leiter. It was like, I can't remember what it was for, but it was MLB Network. We were there, and we were backstage getting ready to go on. And Hulk Hogan was like the next guest, and I'm like the biggest wrestling fan. So I was like, hey, what's up, brother? Meanwhile, I think I'm a miniature Hulk version of Hulk Hogan from like when I was little. But the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart was with him, and he was like, hey, what's up, baby? What's up, baby? Nice to meet you. I'm like, oh my God, it's the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And Hogan, you got to be kidding me. What a day.
All right, we on a roll. And it's only going to get better.
Oh, my God.
We continue our theme of firsts in short stories. One day we're going to do the first hit, first homer, etc. You know, we're just one day away. Tomorrow is like the 13th or something anniversary of the Coco Crisp Brawl, where you got 3-game suspension for. But so, that made us think, your first professional ejection.
Oh, my God. My first professional ejection, I was in Double-A with the Akron Arrows, and we were playing Trenton at the time, right? And my whole family's from Jersey and New York, right? We moved to Pittsburgh when I was 5, but my whole family's from Jersey and New York. So we're playing Trenton. My mom and dad drive in. They've got all their friends with them. My dad's got Father Carmine, or can't remember his buddy, Father Doherty or something like that. He brings in
Father Carmine was, I think, the priest for
Rocky. Oh, that was Rocky. That was Rocky. Was that Rocky? Was like, yo, Father Carmine. Was that what I can't remember. But he has Father Carmine or Doherty or somebody. One of his good friends is in town. He's a priest. He has him there. I think they got a couple other more clergy. I think we got the Catholic Church there. We got my whole family's there. My Uncle Brian, my Uncle Gene, cousins Jimmy and Brian. Everyone's there. Like, we must have 70 tickets at Trenton. We're gonna have a big Casey McHugh barbecue after the game, right? So that day, it just happens that we're facing Brett Saberhagen. Brett Saberhagen's down for a rehab assignment, right? So he's down there, and so is Bill Hasselman, who's a catcher for the Red Sox, right? So Saberhagen and Hasselman are down pitching. Now, when you're in the minor leagues, bro, and you see a big leaguer on the mound, you're gauging your game. You're like, okay, if I get a hit off Brett Saberhagen, then that means I can play in the big leagues. That's what you think, right? So, I'm all excited playing against Saberhagen, and he comes out and you can tell he's a little different. He's wheeling and dealing. He's spotting his fastball, good changeup. He's got great secondary pitches, curveball, slider, and so I remember my first at bat. It gets to 2-2, and he throws me a fastball middle in, and bam! I end up hitting a rocket. And I swear I thought it was fair. It was like above the foul pole, but it might have hooked at the last second. And the ump's like, foul ball. I'm like, dang it. I'm like, just missed a home run, Brett Saberhagen. And I'm thinking to myself, if I don't make the big leagues, at least I can tell my kids I homered off a big leaguer. That's what I swear to God, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you want to do well against a big league. So I ended up, whatever, missing that. And the next pitch is like 3-2, and Saberhagen throws a ball. It was up and in, no doubt a ball. And he's like, strike 3. So I'm like, I turned to him. I'm like, all right, is it Brett Saberhagen day? Is it going to be Brett Saberhagen day? Because he's a big leaguer and we're a bunch of bum minor leaguers. And the ump, so the ump and I kind of jog a little bit. He's like, hey, you better get going. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. And I looked at Hasselman like, whatever. It's kind of funny because, Hasselman's down there too. And we're minor leaguers, so we're like looking at the big leaguers like, we'll take you out. So later on in the game, Guillermo Mercedes, who's our shortstop at the time, he always took a little bit of time in the box. And remember, Hasselman was like, hey, get in the box. And remember, Guillermo looked at him like, no, I'm not getting in the box. So Hasselman stands up. He's like, I said get in the box. And Guillermo's like, no, I'm not getting in the box. And now we got a standoff. So it's like, it's unbelievable. And so all of us in our club, in our dugout are yelling at Hasselman like, hey, well, I don't even know we're yelling, but we're jawing at him, blah, blah, blah. And Guillermo gets in there, so finally, the umpire gets between them. Guillermo gets in the box. Hasselman's still jawing at him. Guillermo grounds out to second. Well, it's the third out of the inning. So I'm sensing some tension here, right? I'm sensing things are going wrong. So I grab my glove change, and I'm going to run out to first because if the inning's over, I also play first at the turn inning. So it's like the fifth inning. Boom, I take off running out there, and sure enough, it happens. Guillermo hits the bag. He turns around. Hasselman's backing up the play. He starts jawing at Guillermo. Their second baseman comes over. It's on, and so we start going at it. We're not throwing punches, but we're like, it's a verbal. Benches start clearing. I'm yelling at Hasselman. Hasselman's yelling at me. Guillermo and this other guy. It's here come the bullpens. It's freaking mayhem. But nothing really happens, and nothing really transpires. Next thing you know, they're like, Casey's gone. I'm like, I'm the only guy you picked out of this whole thing. We got Hasselman, Saberhagen, Guillermo Mercedes. We got 2 benches clearing, bullpens coming in. And I said, why am I judged? He's like, for instigating the bench clear. I'm like, that's not. First off, that's not true. That's not true. So, I might have escalated, but I didn't instigate it, right? So anyway, I get ejected in the 5th, right? And I could tell I'm walking off the field as I got ejected, and I'm kind of looking. It's the minor league parks. It's Trenton, so it's kind of small, and I can see where my family is. And as I'm walking off, you can see people just scrambling. A couple people get up, they walk out. I think my dad walked out. I'm like, where the hell's my dad going? And then he leaves. Here comes the priest. He leaves. Here comes my uncles. They leave. Everybody's leaving. I'm like, oh, my mom's, I think, the only one that hunkered down was like, I love my son. It's okay. He got ejected. I looked out. I think Joe Casey's the only one who stands. 70 people just walk out, right? So I'm like, oh, man, this is unbelievable. So after the game, I'm like, I go to that family barbecue in the parking lot. We're just grinding it out. We're in the Trenton parking lot. Here's the Casey McHugh clan. 70 of them just got barbecues over there. I go out there. I felt like a freaking. I feel like I had a major problem or something, like, because no one's talking to me. And I'm like, aren't you guys here to see me? Why is no one talking to me? I grabbed my mom. I'm like, Mom, how come no one's talking to me at the family barbecue? She's like, your father's all upset. You got ejected. Father Carmine left. He was embarrassed. My uncles, they're all embarrassed. Everyone's so embarrassed you got ejected. I was like, hey, what are you going to do? It's baseball. Sometimes you get ejected. You know what I mean? But Father Carmine can still say hi. Hey, I don't even think he came to the barbecue. That was my first ejection. First professional ejection.
Hearing up. I just think you walking in there and a priest.
Dude, it's like, you have sinned. You have sinned. You have sinned. You're ejected.
All right, so you're in your makeshift studio here. We got all the beautiful pictures up on the wall.
Yeah.
And you said you don't have a bucket of balls today, but you have something.
No, but I have a nice salad bowl of balls. Salad.
Nice.
Hey, bro, you got to make the adjustments sometimes. That's how, when life hands you lemons, you got to make lemonade. You know what I'm saying?
That's nice. That's
right.
like it's a Pioneer Woman collection.
look at this thing. It's beautiful. Beautiful. All right, ready? I'm going to go in. I'm going to pull a ball out.
Get in there.
Okay, there's only 4. I really didn't have to go that far.
All right.
Albert Pujols.
Yes.
How about that? Well,
Beautiful.
Albert Pujols, I like what he's doing, Chinch, though, too. I like what he's doing in LA. I like how he's doing it, and hopefully he gets to 700 homers because he was one of the greatest I've ever seen in my entire life. If you said when I was playing against him and he was in St. Louis, I'm like, that's one of the greatest players ever played the game right there. You know, we're going to say that when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's your story? That's your Pujols story?
Yeah, pretty much. That was pretty much a Lane Poole story. It's all, pretty much all. No, I do have one Poole story. Now that I'm jarring my memory, this is just a legit, grinder baseball story. I'm at the All-Star game with in 2004, and I'm in the food room with me, Scott Rowland, who was the third baseman for the Cardinals at the time, Mike Piazza. Me, Mike Piazza, Scott Rowland, and Luis, I can't remember, and Luis Salou. We're sitting there before the game, and we get to talking about Pujols because at this time in 2004, he's the guy. And I remember Scotty. I said, Scotty, why is he? How is he so good? Like, you get to see him every single day. He said, Case, it's one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. He said, this guy doesn't waste a pitch, not one pitch. Does he waste? It doesn't matter if he's like, I've seen it 9-0 in the ninth where he's grinding out 10, 11, 12 pitch at bat, single to right field, double in the gap. And so when you look back at the great players and the best of the best, man, they fight for everything. They scratch, they claw. And he was like, he doesn't give away one pitch ever throughout 162. And that's why he puts up such great numbers with such great consistency. There's my Pujols story.
Good one. That's a good one. That actually in the Yankee game a few years ago with Paul O'Neill. I love him in a broadcast booth because he's so genuine.
Oh, I love it too.
Growing up in New York, Paul O'Neill, a Yankee, talk about not giving away the bets, but he was talking about how he was going to his kid's game over the weekend. His kid was in the 5th grade, and the kid went 2 for 4 or whatever, and he's and he comes home, and I'm like, why are you so upset? And he goes, man, Dad, I gave away an at bat in the 7th. And he's like, that was the most prideful moment of my life because I never
So great. Paul O'Neill was 21 before I was 21 in Cincinnati. Those are big shoes to fill.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, I can't remember who they traded him for. That Roberto Kelly or something, or
that was a big trade back because Kelly was the only good player in the Yankees.
Well, that worked out good. That worked out good for the Yankees, I think, because if Paul O'Neill's not there those years, I don't think they win all those titles.
I would agree. There you go. See, we took the Pujols ball and we built it into a nice thing. All right. One thing we never mess up is the baseball card segment.
Oh, baby. Here we go. We're rolling the dice today, Chinch.
We are.
I got 2 packs. I'm going to go with the hang on. I need glasses, I think. This is the 88 Diamond Kings.
Oh, those are good ones.
Yeah.
You got good packs.
Let's see. I know I do. Oh, remember the puzzle piece?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's Stan the Man Musial. That's Stan the Man Musial right there.
Nice.
Hey, did you know about Stan Musial real quick? Here's a quick story. He's from Denora, PA, right, which is a suburb outside Pittsburgh, old steel mill town. Ken Griffey Sr. is from Denora, too. Musial's one of the greatest players of all time, bro. Almost 4,000 hits, one of the best ever, Stan the Man. Well, Ken Griffey Sr. is from Denora, PA. It's a small town, dude, in Pittsburgh. Ken Griffey Jr. was born in Denora. Matter of fact, Jr. just told me, hey, man, I'm more Pittsburgh than you are. I was born there. I'm like, stop it, right? But Stan Musial, do you know what Stan Musial and Ken Griffey Jr. have in common? 2 guys from a small town in Pittsburgh. They got the same birthday, bro.
Really?
Seriously, how amazing is that? Two of the greatest players of all time, both born in Denora, PA. It's unbelievable. And Ken Griffey Sr. told me he made more money in the steel mills in the offseason than he did during the season before the union was formed. So the owners needed to clean that up. What? All right. All right, man. We got Bobby Thigpen. Bobby Thigpen. Oh, baby. I remember this card. 88. 89 Donruss, Mark McGwire. Diamond Kings right there. Ronnie Oster, baby. Ronnie O was my man. He was my coach. Oh, dude. He was my coach in Cincinnati. Tom Bermansky, remember him? Kelly Gruber, Phil Bradley, big guy with the union. Roberto Alomar, rated rookie. This might be worth something. I'm about to get the Beckett baseball card out. Brian Sandberg.
Wow.
Wally Backman.
Nice.
Glenn Braggs, remember Glenn Braggs? Chris Spire. Bobby Bo, baby, part of the Killer Bees with the Buccos back in the day. Bonds Bonilla. Van Slyke. Marvell Wynn. Remember Marvell Wynn?
Yes.
Padres. Milt Thompson. He could rake. And Billy D, baby. I got two coaches in the Bill Byrne and Ronnie O were two of my favorite coaches of all time. And I got them both in a pack. Really quick Billy Dorn story. He told me Billy D was the best. Two things he told me. When you get to the big leagues, put your head under water and don't come up for air until they tell you the season's over. It's so true. Find a routine, get ready to grind. You're going to be playing every night. Get your head under water and don't come up for a breath until the season's over. It's some of the best advice I ever got. Thank you, Billy D. You're my man. And then Ronnie Oster. Ronnie Oster was the best, man. He, just a great guy, and they were both great. Was a total grinder, Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famer, great kids, and two of my favorite coaches. But the story is, that's not even the story. The story is Mark McGwire. Listen, back in 1998, when McGwire was, when the McGwire Sox, the summer of '88, when they were going back and forth and getting to Maris's record of 61, it was unbelievable. It was my rookie year. So I had gotten hurt at the beginning of the year, then got called back up, and I got called up right in when the race was getting hot, June, July, something like that, where it was like, man, this is a different summer. These guys are on a different pace, and we were both in our division. So it's so great, dude. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I get a front row seat. And remember, my mentality back then as a 23-year-old kid was, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so I got to soak it all in, right? I got to soak it all in, And I'm so excited that I get to see McGwire and Sosa. So the Cardinals come in. It's like July, I think. They come in, packed house, man, packed house to see McGwire. You've never seen a guy hit the ball as far as he hits it. So he comes in, sold out crowd in Cincinnati, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, I'd love to just talk to him real quick. He's that big of a deal, And so, sure enough, in the first inning, Jack McKeon, we got a guy on second base. Jack McKeon's like 4, walk him. There's 2 outs. He intentionally walks him. I'm like, yes. I'm like, this is big time. I get a chance to talk to McGwire. This is going to be awesome. So I walk up and I'm like, hey, what's up, Big Mac? Like playing it really cool, like, like playing it like I've been here before. So I walk up like, hey, what's up, Big Mac? He's like, hey, what's up, Sean? I'm like, yes. I'm like, he knows my name. I'm like, I'm set. You can send me down to the minors now because Mark McGwire knows my name in the middle of the greatest home run race in the history of the game, right? So I'm so excited. And as I'm going to hold him on because I'm walking up to him saying, hey, Big Mac. As I'm going to hold him on, Jack McKeon's like, hey, Case, play behind him, which made sense, right? I think there was a guy on third, so it was first and third, but McGwire's not stealing. But I'm thinking to myself, oh, that sucks because I want to talk to him. I don't care. I don't want to play behind him. So anyway, I play behind him, boom, inning ends or whatever. A couple innings later, it's out of 7th. McGwire comes up again, boom. We intentionally walk him again. So now I go into fan mode. I'm like, okay, if I get sent down tomorrow, I got to get a conversation in with Mark McGwire. So instead of looking in the dugout for Jack McKeon to say play behind him, I sprint up to the bag and I get there so I can get the conversation. So he comes up. I'm like, hey, what's up, Big Mac? How you doing? He's like, hey, what's up, Case? How you doing? I'm doing great, man. I'm like, man, it's really. No, I turned into a total fan. I'm like, this has been a really fun summer, man. Watching you hit homers. I never seen somebody hit the ball so hard. You know, he was kind of looking at me. Was this guy serious? He's like, oh, thanks a lot. I'm like, yeah, no problem. This is just awesome. He and Sosa going back and forth. It was like it turns into this like little kid awkward conversation. And so McGwire's looking at me, and we're talking, but the game's not restarting. Like the pitcher's off the mound, and I'm like, what's going on here? All of a sudden, McGwire says to me, hey, Case, I think the dugout wants you. I turn around. The dugout's like, what the hell? What the hell, Jeff? It's like, I said, play behind him. The whole dugout's standing up. They've all been yelling at me for like 3 minutes, like, play behind him, play behind him, play behind him. But I didn't hear him because I was so locked in to talking to Mark McGwire. I was like, it's one of the greatest moments of my life. So I was unbelievable. I looked around. I was like, all right, take it easy, Jack. Like, he was yelling at me like I was his son or something. Like, he was going ballistic. But I took the cookies out of the cookie jar or something, or I took the car without asking him. So that was my first time meeting Mark McGwire. Thank God I stayed in the big leagues long enough to have many more conversations and picked his brain on hitting a few times. And what a player, man.
Yeah.
But that was
I think you were 5 for 5 today.
And we know it, man.
We almost didn't even start today. This is like we get these little random before the show that nobody knows about. Like 5 minutes before the show, we're both absolutely terrified every week.
I just called Chich. I'm like, Chich, I can't get on the platform. He's like, really? So we start crying. We called our favorite person, Leslie, who got us on. So thanks, Leslie, for making this happen. But yeah, we're terrified at times. We're getting better than Chich. We're 5 in, baby, and we're rolling.
Did it. Look at this. Longest one ever. 47 minutes.
Awesome, man. Awesome. We did it. And hey, thanks for all the people for tuning in, too. Looks like we got some people that were on this live. Thanks for that. And for all the people that listen to our podcast, keep tuning in. What do we got, Chich? We got it out on YouTube right now. It's Spotify, Apple.
Spotify. We're on Apple, finally.
We're on Apple.
Everything else. Everywhere. Everywhere you
get your podcast everywhere. The mayor's office, Sean Casey. All right, guys. Chichi, love you, my man. And everybody out there, have a grateful day. And we'll see you guys next time on the mayor's office. See you, my man. I'll talk to you.